So now we'll try to get the input from the user. So to get the input from the user, the activity is input dialog. Again, this will be available under dialog only. Okay, so message box is also available under dialog only. Again, this input dialog also will be available under dialog only, and you can see the description. What it is telling: displays a dialog box that prompts the user with a label message, right? So it is also going to display the prompt window, and it is going to ask what you want to enter, right? So what I'll do is I'll drag this particular activity into our workspace, and here you can see for this particular activity also you have some of the properties. Okay, and first we'll go with this particular thing, and then we'll jump into this properties panel. Dialog title, again it is the window title. So what we will do is we'll try to get the user information like name, age, gender. Okay, so these things will try to get it, and then input label, what you want to get it. So the user should know, right, what information that he want to enter. So we'll give it as name. So you can give it as enter the name also. So now this part is done, and here it is a drop down field. Okay, so basically it is expect we will be having two things: one is text box and the other one is multiple choice. So if your input is text, right, like if it is a name, then it is of type string, right? Basically it is a text. You are going to enter some text values, right? And if it is like multiple choice, right, like if you want to choose the gender, there can be multiple options given, right, like male, female, and then transgender. So if you want to choose any one of them from that, then the input type should be multiple choice. For now we are trying to get the name only from the user, so we'll leave it as it is. Okay, and then once the user enters the value, it should be stored in somewhere, right? Then only we will be able to access that particular value to display with the help of message box, correct? So where it will be able to store the value? So we have the concept called variable. So variable is to used to store the values, right? So here if you see here, like in the output section, you have something called as result. Okay, and here you have to create a variable. So the shortcut for creating the variable is Control K, and will give us str name. Okay. And if you go to here, the target, the appropriate data type is string. So it has created on its own. Okay. So the result is of type string only, like message box is of type object, right? Similarly, here input dialog box always returns string data type. Okay, so that's why we are directly it has created the data type as string. Okay, so now this is done. So now what we will do, so user has entered the name, and then that name should be displayed over here, str name. So now we will go into debug mode. Okay. So now what we are going to do is we are going to check how it is going to run in the background. Okay. So now we'll run by step. So we'll do step into, and now you can see whatever variables that we have right under this panel, all the things has been listed out over here with the value null, because this activity is not yet executed. Once this activity executed, then we will be having some value inside str name, right? But for now this activity is not yet executed, and you can see the control also. The control is over here, and once we do step into, we it will prompt a window asking for the name. Okay, so we'll give it as present, and once we click on OK, earlier like you will be seeing like you were seeing null, but now as soon as user enters the value, that variable is filled with null, sorry, present. right? So the null has been overwritten by the user provided value. And now once we do step into, like, that particular message box will be displayed, and then again control has been moved to the main container, that is sequence container, and then execution got stopped. Okay, so this is how you will be able to get the input from the user. Okay, so now we have seen for name, right? We'll see for multiple choice also. Okay, so that we will be able to understand array syntax also using this multiple choice option. So here we'll give it as enter the gender. So
But in real time, do we use all these?
no, again we will not use this
We
input
don't. It's
dialog
just for
again.
knowledge purpose, right? I don't.
Yeah, correct.
This is just for. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Now we have chosen multiple choice, and you can see input options separate with semicolon. Okay, so we will be having multiple options, right? Like male, female. So those two options has to be separated with semicolon. Okay, and here what we are going to give, we are going to give some text value, right? If it is a text value, then the data type is string, right? So it should be enclosed within double quotes. So we'll give it as male, and then separated by semicolon, and then we'll give it as female. Okay, again we are going to store in the str name only. For now what we will do is we don't need this activity in Python or in C programming. If you don't need one line to execute, right, then what you will be doing, you will be doing commenting out, right? Similarly here also we can do that. Okay, so two ways: one is by UI level, the other way is shortcut. Okay, just do right click or click on this menu icon, and you will be seeing something called as disable activity. Once you click this, this activity will be commented out. And control D. The shortcut is control D. D for disable and E for enable. Okay. If you want to again enable this activity, just do control E so that this activity will be enabled. If you do control D, this activity will be commented out. Okay. So now this activity will not get executed. Okay. So once we do step into now, right? See, that activity didn't got executed directly. The flow has been moved to the input dialog, and now we will be asked to choose the gender. So we have chosen, and that particular value will be displayed over here. Okay, so this is one thing. Okay, as soon as we changed that input type from text box to multiple choice, there was this option got enabled, right? And on the right hand side you can see, like, whatever changes that we are doing here, male, semicolon, female, those things, just see where it has reflected in the options string. It got enabled, right? Correct.
Yeah.
So whatever we have entered over here, that has been reflected in the options string field, right? So, and you have something called as options also. And have you seen this icon anywhere before, like a string of, that is bracket, square bracket? Have you seen anywhere? Like, what is that indication?
Arrays. It's an array, right?
Correct. So it is an array of string. Okay. So how we will be declaring the array? Like, we'll be declaring array of, and then we'll be giving the how many array that we needed, right? So we'll be giving something like this, and then we'll be giving whatever value that we need to give, right? So this is how we'll be declaring in other programming languages. Similarly, here you don't need to declare how many values that you are going to store. Instead of that, what you have to do, just you have to give the options only. Okay, So flower bracket, flower parenthesis, okay, and then it is of type string, right? So again double quotes male and then comma and then female. Okay, so this is the syntax of array. Okay, here in UiPath. So male
So you are
and
giving
as a,
both options.
yeah, yeah, I'll tell you. There it has thrown error, right? Yeah, I'll tell you. See, first see the syntax started with flower parenthesis and then closed with parenthesis. Okay, and then between that each option has to be separated by comma because array is index based, right? If you give array of 0, then this option will be displayed, and if you give array of 1, this option will be displayed, right? So each option should be separated with comma. But options string, what we did, like each option we have separated with a semicolon in a single string. This is considered as a single string, but two option. But these one string and this is one string, each separated with comma. Okay, so this is the syntax. And if I try to run it, I am getting one compiler error. What I'm getting? I'm getting can't have both option property set. Basically, it is overloaded. Okay, so you can't have both these option properties set. Either option string has to be set or either options has to be set. Okay, so now we will remove this and then we will run it. So again it is going to give you the same result only, like it will be going to show you the drop down the radio button only. So let's see, it has shown the radio button again in the same way like we have given, right? So this is done. And here if you observe, right, I have hovered over this option string, and if you see the description, right, till now like we were getting one is first one is what, text, and the other one is multiple choice. Apart from this, like we can get drop down also. Okay, how we can get drop down, I'll show you now. See, I'm giving one and then separated by comma, 2 separated by comma, 3 separated by comma, 4. When it exceeds 3, right, whenever it is exceeds 3, this multiple choice will act as not a multiple choice, it will act as a drop down. Okay, so once I click on debug file, see, earlier we used to get it as a radio thing, but this time we are getting it as a drop down. So on short, like whenever the options exceeds 3, right, then in that case that particular options will act as a drop down. Okay, just remember this as well.